everybody. You know what time it is. It's a new time. It's 6 o'clock here in Mountain Standard Time, Canada. And that means it's 8 o'clock, perhaps where you are, on the neck of the woods you're sitting, in the eastern part of Canada. And you know what happens at this time? We say, welcome to Chattin 88. If you're just tuning in, hey, that's great. Every single week we have a guest. Oh, spending time with me. I said spending time with me. I said spending time with me is the best. Oh, yeah. Well, everybody, let me tell you, April 1st for us is going to continue all through the entire month because, yes, we have said it, and we are so excited as this is a special month for us. It is Comedy Month here on Chattin 88. And that means we have 4 amazing comedians here from Canada that are going to be joining us at our new time, 6 o'clock. We figured that 6 o'clock was a better time for everybody across the country. People have come online and mentioned if we could do the show a little bit sooner so that we can reach everybody before time is too late on the eastern part of the country, because we have dedicated viewers like you joining in to make sure that you are catching everything that Chattin 88 offers, from singer-songwriters and to our special month of Comedy Month with our comedians right across the country. And tonight, our guest is Eric Johnston. This man is, this is a great guy. This is just an all-around homegrown boy from Canada who has brought so much to the performing arts. He's been an actor for many, many years. He has some special stories to tell us about some of the things that he's been doing in memoriam of his father as a ring fighter. He has a bunch of new talk shows coming up, and he's also been on some commercials here in Canada that has been offered for actors, etc., that he's gotten his leg up into. And so he's going to be talking to us about what actors can do and what it's like to kind of get into the real world and what it's like to have a paying job. Ha! Paying job. We all want a paying job as an actor or a performer here in Canada or across the world anywhere. It's a very hard business to get into. But before we do, I figured I sing you a song. I'm going to sing, I don't know. Let's, what should I sing? What should I sing? I'm writing some new stuff right now, and I figured maybe I could try that. But why not sing Blue Dream? This is one of mine that I've been singing for some time, and you've probably heard it before, but that's okay. I'm going to sing it again before we bring Eric in here. I was listening to this on Spotify, and I figured every time I listen to a song of mine, I'm always wanting to change it. And that's one of the, I guess, the dichotomies of being an artist is we think that the art is never done. However, there comes a point when an artist is best to release it into the world and let it birth and be what it is. But here we go. Blue Dream. Let's speed it up a bit. Blue dream, gonna take you away. Flag fly, freaky here to stay. Space between the blinking light. Saw you walking in the dead of night. Oh, you're the tear that's keeping me here. Take everything. Kill my heartstring, 'cause I'm giving it all to you. Can't you see I'm in love? 'Cause I'm giving it all to you. Can't you see I'm in love? 'Cause I'm giving it all to you. Can't you see I'm in love? I'm in love. I'm in love. Away, click your heels so the window stay. Saw you walking in the morning, knew that my heart skipped, it was a warning. 'Cause I'm giving it all to you. Can't you see I'm in love? 'Cause I'm giving it all to you. Can't you see I'm in love? I'm giving it all to you. Can't you see I'm in love? I'm in love. I'm in love. Gotta have some fun, right? Every time it's different. Piano solo. This is different from the actual song. Oh, you're the tear that's keeping me here. Take everything that kill my heartstring, 'cause I'm giving it all to you. Can't you see I'm in love? 'Cause I'm giving it all to you. Can't you see I'm in love? Change it up. 'Cause I'm giving it all to you. Can't you see I'm in love? I'm in love. I'm in love. Oh, I'm in love. One day I'm going to go back and listen to all of these different versions that I did these songs of mine and probably make a compilation of all of them, put them onto a CD and sell, or maybe give as a gift. I don't know. Well, maybe sell, because artists want to make money. And speaking about artists wanting to make money, our guest tonight, comedian, actor, television show host, performer, judge, critique, great friend of mine, and maybe something else that we can't say on R-rated television. Who knows? Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for this amazing guest of ours tonight, Mr. Eric Johnston. Eric, are you there, my friend?
Perfect timing, right at the end of the solo.
Right on, buddy, right on. Well, welcome to Chattin 88. We have had some amazing guests on our shows in the past, and we have been looking forward to this month, and not only this month, but looking forward to having you online, man, and joining us. I know this is a real treat for me, especially because we get to kind of connect on a more personal level with how we've gotten to know each other, and
Totally.
to share you with the rest of the world from our neck of the woods.
Share me. I love to be shared.
Love it. We love to share. That's what we like to do. And
it's April Fool month.
Sure that, if you can give a shout out, we have Volunteer Week coming up, and you know thereby that a lot of things that we can't get things done in our neck of the woods in the performing arts. And I think you would agree with me on this, that we need volunteers. We can't always find sponsorship or always have $1 to pay somebody. I mean, you know yourself, you may have been eating out of a pizza box and old hot dogs for quite some time just to make a living, right? Yeah. So on your side of the neck of the woods, can you give a quick shout out to the volunteers that you have that have helped you?
Oh man, I've had a lot of people who have helped out my career. I don't know if they knew they were volunteers or not, but I've had a lot of people come around, and people who run shows and people who put on shows, and especially earlier in my career, I volunteered a lot my services of comedy and got paid in chicken wings and gas money and stuff, but. I like to collaborate with people. So collaboration is huge. So whether you call it collaboration or volunteer, but there's so many people that work so hard to make so many amazing things happen, including this amazing show that you're doing and some of the amazing shows that I do. So we love volunteers.
Hear, hear to our volunteers on
I'm
both
cheersing
ends
water.
of the country, and that is absolutely fantastic. Oh, okay. Some of the things that I want to talk about today are, we had a little brief discussion of it, but before we go into all of those, what has it been like for you right now to make the choice of being a comedian, to go on and like, look, first of all, I think you've taken on probably the hardest job in the performing arts, to be a comedian, because you're either funny or you're not. And
that's true.
You can bomb very quickly, but you've done quite well with yourself as an actor, and then choosing to be a comedian. How are you surviving right now?
4 letters, CERB. No, you know what? I've still made a lot of things work. When the pandemic first hit, we didn't know what this was. We didn't know what we were going to do. We didn't know how we were going to perform. And for the first kind of month or so, I was resistant to Zoom. I was resistant. I had kind of an old school mentality of, well, it's not going to work, and we got no audience connection, and there's no live performance, and there's no people. We need people. That's what we do, right? We need to make people laugh.
Right.
And I was resistant against it, and I said, I don't care, who books me. I am not doing Zoom comedy. And then about a month and a half into the first pandemic, the first wave of the pandemic, I got a call from a company out of Frankenmuth, Michigan, and I was scheduled to headline a show there in a regular world, a live performance show. And they said, listen, because of the pandemic, we're obviously not doing your live show, your headlining show where I was supposed to, drive down to Frankenmuth, do my hour and whatever. They said, well, we're not doing that, but we are going to shift it to online, and we're going to do kind of more of a comedy showcase. So we need you to only do 12 minutes, and we're going to give you $250 American. And I said, what time?
Right? So, I'm in.
Yeah, exactly. So I was in my other office, and now I've built a home studio in my house, which I'll talk about, but I was in my office in my loft, and it was very condensed, and I was in my upstairs office, and where I do my editing work. And I kind of did my show, my 12 to 15 minutes, kind of in this condensed small space, and it worked. And I was getting laughs, and I was understanding how this kind of Zoom works. So I said, okay, well, that wasn't so bad. I guess I'll just really go for it now. And then I built this home studio. So we're in my actual home studio where I have a backdrop, spotlights, I have the mic stand, the stool, I have a logo that goes up. And I think I did 40 Zoom comedy shows since the pandemic has started. Yeah.
That is, and I can imagine that a lot of production companies who have been making all of this equipment had their sales have gone through the roof because who's not doing this now?
I was going to say, I wish I was an early investor in Zoom because I had not heard of it. And now a large, a large part of my business is within Zoom. So
my whole side of the business of things, I just acquired a studio space for separate from where I am at home for live streaming and all of that stuff. But let's what has it been like for you right now, especially in this, okay, connection is connection. Now there's nothing like being in front of an audience where you can actually reach out and practically touch the person and
reach out and touch them, bum.
But because the connection is through the lens now, and there's still an audience who's wanting to be, look, the arts are not going to go away no matter how much we decide in the province per province to say, no, we can't do this. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do this. We will always rise to the occasion and create and find a way as artists. And that is a part of our nature.
Yeah.
So the connection for you, how has been that connection, that shift? Now that you're looking directly into the lens, Liberace was one of the first individuals with television back in the 50s and 60s to actually look directly to the camera and reach that lovely lady who was on the other end and make them feel like on a Sunday afternoon that they were right there listening to this man and hearing him play and thinking that they were, in love with him. How are you making people fall in love with you through the camera now?
I'm doing the same thing. I'm reaching out and making people fall in love with me. The biggest thing I've learned with virtual comedy is just to slow down. So if you've seen me, or you've been on my website, or you've been on my YouTube, or you've seen me live for because I tour quite often in Edmonton and in all of Alberta, you see that I'm a very animated, I'm a physical comedian. That's my stuff. That's what I do. It's kicking, dancing, singing, moving. I still do that very much. But it's just slowed down because you got to remember it's got to go into the camera, it's got to go into the Wi-Fi networks and get to people's houses, get into where they're sitting. They have to react to it, and then they laugh, and then it has to go back to me and back into the universe and back to my camera, back to my response. So the biggest thing I've learned with Zoom or any kind of online show is just slow down. Like, still saying, keep up that energy, keep up that fun, keep up that intensity, but just give it a little bit, let it hang a little bit. And yeah.
I know it's something and I agree with you, even from my end, when I do a live stream playing music with the band or whatever of the boys, it is, it's, the song is the tempo that it is. However, I do agree with you on all the fronts, but I almost wish that you can be sure as heck that there is going to be classes out there now, once COVID is done, on artists it's mandatory to take a class on camera etiquette and delivery. And we're going to see a rise in that. And I think that's a beautiful thing, because it's its own art form that I have learned just having our technical crew and understanding all of that, and how important it is to connect with the lens, if you will, so that it gets across to the person on the other side,
which I feel right now
emotionally and connectively, right, my friend?
Yeah, you know what? But here's the thing: I had a little bit of a benefit into that because I had been an actor since I was 6 years old. I know how to play to, the camera. I know how to play to the scene, to the atmosphere, or whatever. So it's just, when I started doing some of these Zoom calls and comedy shows, I had my opening acts my guys that I tour with all the time. And I would just say, okay, well, come here to my house and you can still open for me, do 15, but then just kind of shake my hand and we'll change positions here. And then I'll do my hour or whatever, however long I'm slotted to do. It took a couple times for my opening acts to know to look into the camera, and I invested into the full HD 4K camera, webcam thing. I invested into the pro USB mic thing, because you have to invest into your career. I've said this in many interviews before, but it's called show business for a reason. There is 100%, a massive 100%. Business. Oh, I didn't know you could still.
There's no business like. We don't have the rights for that, but you get.
You get 3 seconds of it. But it's called show business for a reason. So if you treat it as a business, if you invest in your business in terms of the microphones, in terms of the camera, in terms of the studio space, the spotlights, whatever it is, and your purple, beautiful purple backdrop. People see that and see the difference, because I've been on calls where I'm the headliner, but they zoom in another opening act, and it's like I can see his kitchen and his cat wandering around.
Oh, let's talk about that for a second here. Okay, you bring up, I want to go back to being an actor at 6 and then figuring out your career kind of thing, but let's just talk about that. Okay, I know I have a problem. I shouldn't make it a problem unless I just myself out. But when I see somebody's microwave in the background, or I can see their dirty dishes, or a stack of bananas in a fruit bowl, I'm thinking to myself, now correct me if I'm wrong, let me know if you think the same thing. I feel like they should have at least hung up a bed sheet or something.
No, I agree with you. And listen, everyone has a beautiful home and a beautiful space within they live. But this is you need to have the suspension of disbelief. That's part of the entertainment industry. They want, comedy, they want to believe that you're coming up with this on the spot. I'm not. I do the same hour everywhere I go. Just like you have the same set list as a musician that you play every night. Even if you're taking requests, it's a song that you already know. The suspension of disbelief is very important. It's important with music, with comedy, with acting, with professional wrestling, whatever it is. I want to believe that this is true. And when I can see your cat or your sofa or your kitchen, I kind of go, oh yeah, just kind of in their kitchen there. And me,
and I don't cringe, but I'm like, Oh, that's a whole different conversation for a different show.
Well,
We should do an etiquette show on proper
oh, I
attire,
could
maybe
teach a
on.
class. Again, I say I'm kind of from the old school, from the old school entertainment aspect. I come from a long line of entertainers, so I respect that this space is sacred ground. So make
Yes.
sure that you're when listen. Whatever your situation is, that's fine. I don't want to crap on too many people who are trying to make it work during this pandemic. But when I see something like that, it tells me, the audience or the co-entertainer with you, you don't care. So why
That's
would the
exactly it. That's
audience
exactly it.
care? Why would the audience care if you don't care?
100%.
So yeah, and that's it. Well, we'll leave it at that. Let's not get too heated. We're too
No,
sassy boys over
and,
here.
and again, not poo-pooing on anybody. Everybody's doing the best they can right now, but all the merrier to cheers to everybody who's attempting to make art right now, because that's the most important thing. And speaking of making art, when you can either choose to do it as a hobby and have some fun and have your massage parlor in the background or whatever. As a business, we have to make money at it, right? First and foremost, we want to make sure that we are surviving, especially if we choose to be it as a business. You've chosen at an age, you started acting at the age of 6 and going through different things. Being in a show, in a play, or in a musical, you'd be lucky if as an equity actor, you're making less than minimum wage as an equity actor. I don't know what it is now, but I know myself at that point in time, and being an actor myself, and shows, and as a musical director, it's a different story. We have to make a residual income. You have done that by, getting into commercials. We have Comic-Con. You have mobile commercials. What is the mobile commercial that you have? What company is that?
Oh God, Kudo, which I don't even know if
right?
I don't even know if
Right.
they're still
I
a
did
company.
say that. So then, really quickly, not talking about the companies, what did you have to do as an actor to say, okay, to get yourself noticed? I know there's an agent and all that stuff, but what did you have to do to bite the teeth and get rejected 15,000 times so you can get that residual income and be like, I'm in this, I'm doing this to survive right now?
Yeah, so it's kind of a two-world place that I live in, because I'm a stand-up comedian and actor. Now, the difference between the two is this. As a stand-up comic, I am in control of my career. I am in control of my bookings. I'm in control of my show. I'm in control of how well I do. I'm in control of how much money I make, depending on gig, place, opportunity, whatever. As an actor, I am not in any control. My control is this. I have an agent. They send me auditions. I do my absolute best for a self-tape or a live audition or whatever it is. I get cast. Sometimes I go through real heaters where I'm cast in 3-4 spots in a row, but then I won't get cast in anything for a year because it's out of my control. My job is to go in as an actor, do my absolute best, give my absolute funniest or my absolute dramatic, whatever the scene calls for. Usually with commercials, they lean towards funny, which is great because that's my world. But I also have a rich, deep, emotional, past where I am a man who can play very dramatic scenes. It's just more fun, and I'm better at doing comedy. Now, I do my best. I leave. I shake the hands. Thank you very much. Then I have to, as to keep myself sane, I have to forget about it. I have to completely go, that was my audition. I will not think about this again unless I get a call. But generally, there's a million things why you could or could not be cast in a commercial or TV show or movie. Sometimes you're an inch too tall, or you're an inch too short, or your hair's too dark, or your hair's not dark enough. There's a lot of contributing factors to being cast in a commercial. I've had commercials where I've been cast and they love me. Director loved me. Whoever loved me. But the client went, all it takes is the client who's purchasing the commercial, say it's Kudo or this new one I just did for Text Now or whatever company that's casting, they go, I don't know. That's all they need. Then you're done. They move on to the next person. That's it. It's quick. It's easy. They lop off your head and they move on.
So, you have thick skin. You've been doing this for quite some time. I know there's actors out. Okay, so these actors have just finished post-secondary education. They've done their thing. They're now moving on into the real world. They've got an agent. Yay, I've got an agent. I'm going to now have a bottle of wine and celebrate that. And then they're
Yeah.
going to do all these auditions, and then they go home and they worry and they think, why didn't I get a call? Why didn't I do this? You just finished saying what you do is you do the audition and then you forget about it, and you only worry about
Yeah.
it until you get the call.
Yeah.
What advice can you give that next up and coming artist who's just finished their education in an acting school, got their diploma or their degree, whatever it is, and they're going into the real world, and tell them not to stress? What can
Well, I think you just did it. I think it circles back to the just show up and do your best. Know your lines, know your parts, know what they're looking for, and show up and be that, and then leave and let it go. Because if you beat yourself over, there's a lot of self-doubt and pain and again self-doubt, where I don't know why I don't know why I didn't get cast. The audition was so good. I've had auditions where I go in and the director either cries from laughing or cries from a dramatic scene. And I say to myself, I got that. But then I don't get it for whatever reason. I never really ever find out. Sometimes a director will, or if I know the casting director personally, which I know a couple at this point in my career, they'll go, oh my God, they loved you. You were great. But they just wanted to go. They actually changed the role to a woman rather than a man, or they changed it to a biopic person, which is fine. I
then
support
you'd
all
be
of
telling
that.
you'd be like, I got my heels, girl. And
I'm 6'1", 6'6" in heels. But there's a lot of contributing factors to not getting it. But then I've had auditions where I went in, I thought I bombed. I went, oh God, I was all over the place. It didn't feel right. I didn't do well. I completely missed the mark on this, and I completely missed my timing on this. And then they call by the time I'm even home to Hamilton from Toronto, and they call you got the part. So it's
you
like,
never know. You never know.
I never knew. And I was pretty lucky. When I graduated from film school, the Vancouver Film School, so now I'm heading back west here in our story. But I went to the Vancouver Film School, which is an extremely hard program to get into. And I was lucky enough to be accepted into that program. It's a 12-month program, and it changed my life for the better. I came back from film school in September, and by June the following year, I was cast in a major TV show for YTV. Called Splatalot, which is seen in 170 countries in the world. And I played Vane, the medieval.
I'm familiar with that.
Yes, exactly. But for your listeners, I was lucky, but I was almost too lucky. I kind of hit too quick. And I did the show, and it was fantastic. What an experience. And to be seen in countries all over the world. I've been on tour in the States, or I've been down even in Mexico on vacation, and people from the UK go, are you Vane from Splatalot? And I go, yeah. I mean, I was standing in the lobby holding my press shot, but I mean, it's nice for them to recognize it. But yeah, it was a great experience. I love doing Splatalot. And since then, I've really focused on stand-up because, again, it goes back to that control. I am in control of Eric Johnston's stand-up comedy career. I am not in control of Eric Johnston's acting career. And I've just made a decision, even during the pandemic, but especially pre-pandemic, was just give everything to this. A tour, 200 nights a year, show up everywhere, have show, will travel, show up and do it, and make fans and make connections and shake the hands and get the Instagram followers and get the whatever followers. Come into my world because I'm so passionate about this, and it's worked, for the most part.
I have to say, key word that you just said right there, and one thing that we really take pride on, and I know myself, is passion.
Yeah.
If you have the passion for it, you have to act on it.
Yeah.
You can't just say, I want to do this because I love doing it.
Yeah. Well, no, here's the thing. Back to the advice thing on a young actor, entertainer, musician, comedian, whatever you are, magician. I don't care what you are. I will tell you this. The phone will never, ever ring for you. No, Hollywood is not going to call. Hollywood is full. Okay. Actually, I like the piano interludes. Go ahead. No one is going to call. You have to make your own calls. You have to show up and, again, shake the hands, make the connections, get your face out there without being creepy and blacklisted. If you keep showing up to a casting house or whatever, you're like, cast me. And they're like, this person's crazy. Get him out of here. But really shoot for it, go for it, and see what happens. And I improve. Again, pre-pandemic, I was doing 200 shows a year, making as much money as if I was working in the trades, which is a Canadian entertainer is a massive accomplishment. I was breaking into the US markets, doing shows all over the United States. And then I did 7 sold out shows at the Laugh Factory in Chicago. And I came home from that thinking, this is it. I'm going to make it. I've made it. I'm making it in the States, which is going to springboard. People are going to talk. I'll be living in LA in the next year, which is a crazy thought or whatever. And then the pandemic hit and the border closed 2 days after I got home. So things change, guys.
They do. And you have to go with the flow. You have to adapt. And that brings us back full circle to, adapting with what we need to do and how we can continue to bring the entertainment factor to people across the world and our country and where our neck of the woods is. And one of those things that you've been doing that I love, I am so, dude, I respect you so much. I'm looking forward to the day where we can actually be in the same room together. Maybe
I can't wait.
Having a drink, but let's take a drive.
Yeah, let's go for a drive, but close enough.
Let's go for a drive. What a great idea. And,
it wasn't my idea,
I love
but
that you're executing it. Tell us about it. What is it?
So Let's Go for a Drive is a new show that I'm doing. Episode 2 actually launches at noon tomorrow. So if you're not following me already, for the listeners out there, noon tomorrow would be what? What's the date today? April 7th. So April 8th at noon. I don't know when each thing is going to air, but episode 2 of
10
Let's
o'clock
Go.
our time tomorrow morning.
Yes. So time zones. Yes, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Please check out my YouTube page. Check out my Instagram page. There'll be a link to the YouTube link. The idea of the show is not original. I'm not delusional. It's based on shows like, Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, or Jay Leno's Garage, or James Corden's Carpool Karaoke. It's a car show. But I think the best interviews you get out of people are in cars. People are most comfortable kind of talking in a car. So I took that premise, and again, not original. I'm not delusional to say, I came up with this idea, but I wanted to make it Hamilton based or Stony Creek based, or my hometown area, GTHA area, and bring on some of my favorite people. Now, my favorite people are, up and coming rappers, comedians, TV broadcasters, musicians, but these are people who I'm extremely closely connected to, some of my best friends, and we're going to some of my favorite places in terms of local area, Hamilton, Stony Creek, GTHA places, and just putting on a show. And that really comes on, like you and I are very much the same. It's like, have idea, execute, because everybody has ideas. When someone comes to me for a pitch meeting, or, hey, Eric, I have this idea, I go, oh, you do? You have an idea? Because I have ideas, and the person next to you has ideas. The person who works at the grocery store has ideas. Show me how it's going to execute. What's your plan of action? How many episodes do you have written? How are you going to shoot this? How are you going to execute? How are you going to put it online? So I just thought, I had this idea, and it was, to be honest, it was in the middle of a January kind of depression lull in my life, or I'm like, well, I got to do something. I won't have shows until at least the summer in terms of live shows. I got to film or do something. And then I reached out to a friend of mine, local filmmaker. His name's Peter DeBusolo. I've known him since grade 9 in high school, and he was looking for something to do. We came together, and we're just starting shooting them. Episode 1 has already launched. Episode 2 launches tomorrow. Episode 3 comes out next Thursday. And we're trying to find a way to film the next 6 episodes within this stay-at-home order lockdown that we got announced today. So we're going to try to figure it out. If not, we'll go on a brief hiatus and then come back strong in the summer. But it's going really well, and it looks beautiful. I'm extremely proud of it. So
it is, the visuals are stunning. The car choices are great. The Hamilton Road issue, spilling coffee is great. You've nailed it. I'm loving watching the episodes. I'm excited for episode 2 to come out tomorrow. I definitely will be watching it. And congratulations. We will make sure that we share as many episodes as we can and support you on that journey as well.
Thank you.
Speaking of support, you have had, I've watched your journey now on your relationship with your father.
Yeah.
And this is this is a personal experience for you. Tell us, for those who don't know, what is the connection and the some people might look at you and go, oh my God, that guy's got a spray tan. He's the magazine model. He's got guns like this and wears this lovely leopard print.
Stop. Keep going.
Keep going. I'm feeding your ego, baby. I'm feeding your ego, sister. No, you have.
I don't know if you can hear me, but I can't hear you. I don't know if I lost your audio. You can hear me. I don't know what your question was. I'll keep talking. I'm going to assume that your question was, what is your connection to your father? And I will answer that. So while you figure this out, I'll give my background. So my father and my grandfather were both Canadian professional wrestler. I'm trying not to be distracted by you being distracted by everything that's going on in the room. Don't worry. This is Canadian show business. Canadian show business. Oh, what a world. So the answer to your question, which I didn't hear, but I'm assuming was,
you hear me?
I can hear you now. You're back.
We had a battery replacement in our boom mic, and then the battery fell, and then all that. No. There you go. Show's over, folks.
Canadian. You have a Canadian show business song you can play us in. Canadian show business.
Canadian show. Canadian show. I should write you your opening music.
You should. Let's go for a drive. I did that in episode 1. I made a rap song.
No, not let's go for a drive. You're whenever you go on stage.
Oh yes, please. I would love for you to tour with me. I would. That would be
touring. We should. I've always wanted. Side note. Oh God, this would be a great thing. I would love to do a comedy. I did a show. Okay. Fun fact. We're going to switch. I just have to toot.
We'll go back to the Becoming Bullwhip once we can rehear it.
Yeah. Well, totally. We'll go. I did a show called Laughing Ivories, and there was a comedian. I can't think of his name right now at the moment. Oh my God, he's gonna watch this and then slap me in the face. Oh my God, how horrible is that? Anyway, he did the stand up, and then I did the live music behind it, and we did an hour show called Laughing Ivories. It was just absolutely a riot. And then unfortunately we couldn't sell out another show, so we had one full
you're good for one. No, but the Comedy Store where I've performed twice now, which is a massive career milestone for me to perform at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, on Hollywood, Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, California. They have a live pianist that brings each person to stage. So if Joe Rogan's up and he goes, "Thank you guys, good night, please welcome Bill Burr." As Bill Burr's walking the stage, they have a live pianist who plays along as they're coming up and plays kind of with it. And
I love it. Okay, back to Heart Center here.
Yes, let's slow things down here.
Yeah, back to Heart Center. To kind of rephrase my question, support. You have had a father in his art form that a lot of people really don't know about you or about your father. And I didn't know about this until you started sharing past history about your connection and who he was. And I was like, I want to know more. The vulnerability, I want to know more about it. And how, so tell us who your father was. Sure. Tell us what you're doing to help support the dream, to share his memory, and to just bring this gentleman kind of back to life. You've brought in this man to, I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
And
hey.
I know him
Not
now
your scene.
because of you. What's that? Sorry?
I said it wasn't your scene.
No, girl, it wasn't my, maybe I had a shoe and I'd throw a shoe. No, it wasn't my scene, but I have to say that because I knew who you were, and because you can, look, I wish my father was still here as well. And tell us about your dad, who he was.
Of course.
And everything about it.
So I will. So my father was a professional wrestler, Canadian Hall of Fame professional wrestler, also in the Elio DePaulo Wrestling Hall of Fame out of Buffalo, New York. His name was Bullwhip Johnson, Danny Bullwhip Johnson. He was massive in the 70s, 80s, and into the 90s, toured all over the world, lived in every state of the United States, had a home in Trinidad where he wrestled there, once a month in Trinidad and Tobago, lived in Japan for a bit, wrestling and for Old Japan Wrestling. My dad was a star, but he was never Hulk Hogan. He was never Macho Man. He wasn't a massive star, but my father did very well in terms of a wrestling kind of vernacular. There's someone called a jobber. A jobber is someone who just goes in, gets beat, no one respects him. And the other term in that, the positive, respectful term of that, is someone called a mechanic. I would describe my father as a mechanic of professional wrestling. He went in, he won matches, he knew how to work, he knew how to make a match work, he knew the psychology of wrestling. But he was never, he won quite a bit and held some tag team titles, and he was massive in international wrestling in Montreal, and had an amazing career. But again, he never really, in the industry, it's called getting over. He never got over to become a massive superstar, but a very respected man in Canadian professional wrestling, as was my grandfather, who was one of the original shoot wrestlers of the 50s and 60s. His name was Bull Johnson, one of the wrestlers who wrestled at Maple Leaf Gardens and Stampede Wrestling in Calgary. They were these guys were called the original shooters. They were when wrestling came out of the sideshow, out of the carnival, of the Ringling Brothers Carnival. It was called a feat of strength. This is how far back my wrestling lineage goes. Now, unfortunately, my father died 9 days after my 13th birthday, which is traumatic, obviously, but it makes me hilarious because you put
and we're so thankful for that.
You put that kind of trauma on a child, his only option is either to be funny or die. So I chose funny, and I've had an amazing career as a stand-up comedian within Canada and the United States, North America. And now recently, last year, about a year and 2 months ago, let's call it 14 months ago. That's the math on that. I released a documentary called Chasing Footsteps, and it was just a 5-minute documentary about my relationship with my father, how I always wanted to be like him. He died. It made me choose funny to become a stand-up comic. Now I'm a stand-up comic, and I'm never going to stop chasing his footsteps. Now, that mini documentary led to conversations about a full-length documentary called Becoming Bullwhip. The idea of the documentary is me as a 30-year-old, somewhat successful stand-up Canadian comedian, saying to myself, you know what? Screw it. It's now time for me to embrace the lineage and legacy of my father and my grandfather and become a professional wrestler. And that is happening now. So I've been in touch with a massive production company from Toronto. They've produced documentaries, reality TV, movies, and we've been in touch and we're talking. Now it's not 100%, but even if it's not 100% with this company, it'll be 100% with another company. It's happening. So I'm making a documentary over the next I call it year, of me training, traveling, going to all the places that my father did, going around North America or even into the Caribbean and training to become a professional wrestler while still doing stand-up comedy. And the kind of duality of that, the two worlds coming and mixing together. And then the documentary ends with me with a massive wrestling match in Hamilton, Ontario, because my dad's last match ever was on May 1st, 1999 at the Hamilton Convention Center. My first match ever will be at the Hamilton Convention Center. And it's a full circle story. And basically the idea of the documentary is for me to become at peace with losing my father, because I've walked in his footsteps a lot of ways. And I've had him as a massive, if you follow me on Instagram, you can see that my father is a massive hero and a massive inspiration in my life, but I've never literally walked in his boots, and I'm going to do that now. So it's going to be happy, it's going to be sad, it's going to be hilarious, it's going to be traumatic. I'm going to feel pain, I'm going to feel triumph, I'm going to feel all of these feelings and really understand what my father went through. Because if I could be open and honest with you guys on Chattin 88, my father died of alcohol addiction because his career never made it to the level that he wanted it to. So he created a dependency on alcohol. Also, he used it for physical pain relief because my dad never did drugs. Never, if a joint was going around at a party in the 70s, my dad would ash it out and be like, "What are you going to do? I'm 6'5". I don't want drugs in my backyard." So my dad never did drugs, but he drank to deal with his pain, his physical, his mental anguish. And unfortunately, he died of liver and kidney failure. And I can be open and honest with that because he's not the only professional wrestler who went through that journey. But also, there's a lot of people, especially within Canada, we're a big drinking culture. But there was a lot of people who have problems. So I'm gonna face that head on and talk about addiction and talk about mental health while having a funny experience of me training to become a professional wrestler. Because listen, I am jacked. I think that is clear. Hello. do. But these muscles are they're not made for actual professional wrestling. They are like curls at the gym and then go home once I start to sweat just a little bit. So so it's going to be funny. I'm soft. I am a metrosexual. I've ironed every shirt I've ever put on, hair gel, spray tans, perfect eyebrows. I am not of this professional wrestling world, but I'm going to dive, head first, spray tan first into this thing.
I honor you, my friend. You are you're open, your vulnerability, I'm looking forward to being a part of that journey as a viewer and getting to know you more, getting to know more about your family. And at the same time that I'm really excited about is that you're going to take us on a roller coaster of highs and lows all the way through it. I'm looking forward to this full-length documentary and where it goes. And perhaps maybe we'll be watching it on Netflix one day. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, we'll see where it goes. But there's put it this way, there's a lot of streaming services interested in content these days. So.
Oh, good. And there's also a lot of red tape in this industry that we have to go through and cut.
Well, I have the backing of probably one of the biggest production companies in Canada now. So things are looking like they're going to go, as they say. Looks like it's going to go, they say. So, yeah.
Until that button is pushed, even then things can
Trust me, I've been cut out of things post-production. Don't worry. I know how that works. But until then, it's just going to keep showing up, doing stand-up comedy, living my dream, doing the Zoom shows. And then this summer, I'm booking again another series of the Eric Johnston Campfire Comedy Tour. Awesome. Which I'll talk about quick. I know we're trying to wrap up, but I'll just say, if you are in Southern Ontario, but even anywhere in Canada, really, I've always said have show, will travel. If you're having any kind of social gathering this summer, whether it's a birthday party, a bar mitzvah, a bachelor party, any of the B's, any of the B parties.
Okay, done. Okay, you know what? Depending on where we are right here, I have my own connections on this end neck of the woods. We're going to get you up. We will fly you. We will make sure
Let's go.
You're on, man. We will connect and we will make that happen.
And I'm bringing my 60-minute show to people's personal properties, I'd say. If you have a party in your backyard this summer and you want comedy, message Eric Johnston at Eric Johnston Who, and I will come and see you.
Oh, my friend, it's been a slice. I've gotten to know you more, and soon we'll be able to connect on a closer level. Speaking of connection, what is okay? We have so many rising artists that are, coming into COVID and coming out of COVID, hopefully soon, to make this as a career choice for them in the industry, no matter what it be: wrestling, acting, comedy, music, singing, dancing. You're a tap dancer as well. Give us a little piece of advice in a couple sentences that you would say to a new rising artist on what any advice that you can give them, good, bad, whatever it may be.
I'll make this as quick as I can, and I've talked about this on other shows before, but I'll give you the condensed version because, again, you got to do a song before the show's over. So I will say this: the entertainment industry, no matter what industry you're in, it comes and goes in waves. You have high moments, you have low moments. Things come crashing down on you, but then you can ride a magnificent wave as a wonderful surfer. It's like surfing. It comes and goes in waves. Now, your job as an entertainer is to always, always stay in the water. Always be out there on your surfboard with your wetsuit zipped up and waiting for the next wave, because you don't know when that wave's going to come. It can come and you could hit it and you can ride it into amazing places. But as soon as that wave's done, you have to paddle back out and catch another wave, because there's too many people who have quit surfing, who are standing on the shore trying to tell you how to surf, but they're not in the water. So my only advice to anybody starting or trying to get back into the entertainment industry, stay in the water. Your wave will come, you can catch it, and you will ride it to an amazing place. And I can tell you honestly, I am proof of that. Curtis, you are proof of that. And just stay in the water. That's my speech.
Ride the wave. Brother from another mother, thank you so much for tonight.
I love you, buddy.
Love you too. And again, we'll make sure that we tell everybody, share the video. We'll post, make sure you guys follow this guy's Instagram, all that stuff. Check him out. Make sure you watch Let's Go for a Drive and listen to his journey for becoming Bullwhip.
Bullwhip. Thank you very much, Curtis. Play us out. I'm out of here.
Have a great night. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our show. That was our lovely guest tonight, Eric Johnston. Eric Johnston, who for comedians out there and anybody that wants to get to know this gentleman more and have a laugh or two. My name is Curtis. This is Chattin 88s, and you know what? Thank you for tuning in tonight. We had a lovely time, that's right. We took a little trip down the road. Heaven only knows, heaven only knows, heaven only knows what's on next week's show. Join us next week, ladies and gentlemen, at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, right here on Chattin 88s. Give us a follow on YouTube, social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and be sure to listen to our podcast on Spotify. My name is Curtis. Have a fabulous... I thought I was going to get through it. Have a fabulous evening.